Okay, so this is part two. This is kind of entertaining. So you got to understand, when you have a good guide partner, hunting partner, there's never any competition, and if the competition is there, it's just out of friendliness. And we'd always have a stupid competition, like, if we're going this way for a ram or that way or spike camp, different camps, we'd always have a stupid bet for who, a side bet, who gets the largest moose for the year, $100 US side bet. Okay, $100 for the biggest moose, or we go $100 for the biggest ram, or $100 for the biggest ram for the next hunt, whatever, right? Just fun stuff. But in reality, as partners, we always try to set each other up and help each other at all costs. It just doesn't matter who gets the monster or anything in our camp. Between us, just didn't matter. We've done it enough times. There's no ego, there's no competition, there's no insecure feeling having to prove something to anybody. We just work as a team, we get it done, and we're good at what we do. And everybody typically gets what they're after. Always. So it's now, moose season opened on August 15th. So this guy, my hunter's like, I overheard him saying to the Ryan, I hope Steve's going to take me to get a moose. I'm like, what? This guy wants to still hunt. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, okay, whatever. By now I've seen all sorts of flavors of crazy by now in the past. Whatever is what it is. Put it behind you, keep going. You want us to keep hunting? We'll keep hunting. So now we have a place called the Moose Pasture. I've used this B-roll I've filmed here a few times, but this is a spot, and where I filmed this clip from is where we typically ride up, tie up the horse, we hike up on this hill, and we sit right here all day long glassing down below at all that buckbrush and all that spruce down there, because it typically will hold a large bachelor group of velvet bulls, and that's where they summer and grow their antlers until the rut comes and they all blow off that thing and become mortal enemies and take off for the rut. So we go up there, and as we're riding out, Mark's behind me, and the two hunters are behind us. We decided we're going to take them together for the day up the Moose Pasture, just get them both a bull, possibly, get them out of there, get this hunt done. So, now we don't normally do that. Unless two guys arrive together and are hunting partners, then we'll hunt together for the day. But if they didn't come with each other, we don't hunt with each other, as a rule. So, we ran it by them, said, hey, we told them, we got a place called the Moose Pasture, and that's where we're probably going to find a bull or two or 10. You guys both want to go there or what? And they're like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go. I'm in, let's go. Now, don't forget, Mr. British Douche had already given us the shooting attitude. Ew. If I shoot a moose, it'd have to be 60 inches minimum. I don't need a moose. That's the only way I'd shoot a moose here. And furthermore, I guess I gotta stress more on why I didn't like this guy. Because my guide crew is my family, and our camp is our home. And when you come into our home and insult or belittle one of our family members, we basically want to kick your ass. And this British guy and this guy from California were basically trying to outclass each other on knowledge of the world Chablis and wines and blah blah blah. I'm not interested in that topic. I don't have the knowledge on it, but it's a subculture where people think there's something else if they can outclass each other on the Chablis and the wines of the world. And in southern BC, we have an area where they grow wine, and they're famous for a wine called ice wine. There's some ice wines that are harvested in southern BC, and that's where Wrangler was from, this young kid. And he's listening to these two talk about this topic in the cabin. As an example, this British idiot. And the Wrangler goes, we have wine. Lots of people grow wine where I live. The British guy's like this. Just in a belittling way. And I'm starting to growl watching this. And the kid goes, yeah. He goes, oh, really? He goes, yeah, they call it ice wine. And then the British guy goes, anyway, just like that. And right then, I want to just grab him, take him outside and kick put a beating on him. I mean, he was a real handful. He was a real piece of work. He came into our camp looking at us all like we were way down there, and he was up there somewhere. And, typically it's actually the other way around. People that do that to others, they have lived their life knowing that they are actually very flawed, and they don't want to be, and they don't want anybody to find out about it. But aside from all that, let's get to the fun part. So, and there's a few other little displays that clued me in that this guy was a sack of shit, and we just need to get him out of our world of paradise. So we're riding out, and now obviously we're going to have a possible issue where who shoots the big moose. And when we do have that, we've done this in the past and works every time, our rule is whoever spots that individual animal first gets the choice of whether or not they're going to tag it. Even if there's a herd of animals all over, you're seeing them everywhere, it doesn't matter. Just because you saw the whole herd first, it doesn't mean you've got your pick for the day. Whoever specifically spies that one monster, anything, you saw it first, you get the choice. So, those Mark and his hunter are sitting about 5 yards to our left. We're sitting here, we're glassing, they're glassing, and bulls are starting to stand up. Velvet bulls are starting to stand up and look around. We're looking them over. And Mark's got a pretty wide one down there in the spot scope. And he's like, Steve, psst, come here, look at this one. So I come over and I go, which one? He goes, look at that one, it looks pretty wide, don't you think? And I'm looking in, because remember, the douche wanted a 60-inch bull. So I'm looking through the spot scope. I'm looking, and it's a wide bull. You know, I think I got a picture of it here. If I do got a picture, I'll post it up. And this wide bull, nothing special. He's got no points. He doesn't have a lot of brow tines. He's just a wide bull. And if he wasn't 60, he was 59 and a half. You know, where I'm like, go, yeah, he does look kind of wide, doesn't he? Mark's like, yeah. And I look at his spot and scope again, and as I'm looking at this bull, I notice a great big one far out of the route stands up. And I looked, no-brainer, book bull, no-brainer. And I go, oh, I see the one we're shooting. Check out that one way out there just stood up. So I go back to my hunter, and I swing my spot scope onto it. Here's this monster frickin' 200-inch Record Book Canada bull standing there. And I go, okay, pack up your stuff. We're going there and shoot it. And it's windy too, right? And my hunter's like, what? He's a nice guy. He's like, what? Well, I don't know. I don't want to cause any. I don't want to cause any awkwardness at camp. I mean, shouldn't it be their choice? I'm like, what? No, I spotted it. We're gonna go kill it. It's ours. And then Mark's like, I can see Mark and his hunter looking at the spot scope. I was paying attention. And he goes, no, I think maybe we should go. And I'm like, what? No, we shouldn't nothing. And no, screw that guy. Dude, do you really think that douchebag gives a shit about you? Do you? Do you think that when we get out of here after this hunt's over, he's going to go home and send you a Christmas card? That guy don't give two shits about you. Don't worry about him. I spotted the moose. It's our moose. You're going to kill it, and it ain't 60 inches wide. That idiot wanted 60 inches minimum. Like, believe me, like, you know, you've probably seen a handful of videos now. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks, but you imagine what my shooting attitude was back then. I was around 28. I really didn't give a shit. And Mark comes over and goes, hey, we can hear every word you're saying, you know. And I'm like, whatever, fuck him. Because the guy's an idiot. You're an idiot. So we pack up our stuff and off. They're going to stay up there and watch this episode as we go down. So we go down there, thump the bull. Here's a picture of him here. He's a beauty. And then I did the gutless method. We chopped them all up, got them ready for horses for the next day. Because this is a 2.5 hour ride just to get here one way. We didn't bring all the pack horses with us. That's usually our plan. We usually go out there with the hunters, get the moose down, cape them out, cut them up, butcher them, and then ride all the way back, leave them in camp, get the wrangler and the pack horses, go get the moose the next day. We almost do that basically every time. So as we're coming back, we come back up, and then Mark goes, we're going to go down and shoot that other one. Because these bulls are all still standing there. They rarely see humans, rarely see hunting. You don't completely blow them off there, and that big wide one's still there. So we watch them go down there, and they pounded this thing. And I guess the guy justified it by saying, well, it's a perfect velvet specimen. I need the perfect velvet specimen for my collection. I will harvest that moose. So they go down, they pounded that bull, and it turns out it was 59 and a half, but it's just a moose. You know, it was wide, short pans. Yeah, it's just a 2-point or something, just a moose. So the hunter, that British guy, really stressed that he needed the velvet perfect for his mount once he got back home to England or Britain, whatever you call that place. Okay, whatever. So we get back into camp, and these guys, it's just another joyous night at the coffee table, you know, and in the cabin with these guys. My guy he was a nice guy. Stressy, the guy I had, was a nice guy. He's just a little loopy. So anyways, but the other guy is a full-on douche. So they fly out. The English guy flew out first, the one-seater cub. Outfitter flew in, packed him and his stuff, off he goes. Then the outfitter flies back in, and we're in no panic to get the moose. We got all day to do it. Then the outfitter flies in to pick up my guy. Flies back out. And then he said he'll be back in again. He's going to fly us some groceries and stuff. So what he typically does is, if the hunters tip us, they tip us back at the main ranch because they put all their valuables in the safe of the ranch. So they always give an envelope to give to the outfitter to give to us later on. So the outfitter flies back in, gives us their envelopes, and it's funny because the outfitter, once I told him the story, he goes, "Holy cow, this one's thick. There must be some shut-up money in your tip." Whatever. But the douche, the English douche, sent this... Oh, let me backpedal. During the sheep hunt, that Mark got him. He found that big, heavy, cranker fat ram. Here they are here. Check out this ram that he got him. He got him a frickin' monster, fat, heavy, beauty stone sheep. And, I think we were done on day 5. Day 5 or day 6, we're done. These guys are done. Two tags, 2 moose each, 2 nice rams each. They're out, And when the outfitter flew back in and gave Mark his envelope, the douche had left a nasty, disgusting, insulting, scathing note to Mark, calling him down, saying he was miserable to be with and only fun to be with if he chose, and basically, I was on fire. There's nothing worse than a coward. To me, there's nothing. You got something to say, you say it. You look a man in the face and you tell him, you straighten it out. You don't sit there and play it up, all phony-ass bastard. And then when you're safe, insult and run everybody down to the ground when you're safe. Especially if it's my crew. I was on fire. I wanted to jump in that plane, get him to fly me out to camp and find that guy and kick his frickin' ass. I was so pissed off. I mean, how dare, when it comes down to, Mark can be a little rough around the edges, but he's one of the most generous, kind, honest people I've ever met in my entire life. I'm very protective of my friends that way. And this guy sent out just this nasty, nasty, insulting, disgusting letter addressed to Mark. And in the tail end of it, he says, "And I still believe the choice of that moose was ours, and that should have been my moose." The one we shot. It was only like 52 inches wide. It wasn't 60. It wasn't a 60-inch moose. It was Mr. Attitude, Mr. Douche from Britain said, quote, "I won't shoot any moose here unless it's 60 inches. 60 inches is nothing. I don't need a moose." Right away, I'm like, I guess he ain't getting a moose. Whatever. So anyways, don't forget, before that idiot flew out, he stressed, "Make sure you keep my velvet perfect. I need the velvet perfect on my bow." So we rode out. I wanted to take my knife and carve some initials into those paddles. Of course I'm not going to do that, but that's what I wanted to do. And normally we'll take some top-pack tarps and wrap them around the palms to protect them and then ride out gingerly and make sure the horses take the widest routes out. Well, go figure, somebody forgot to pack the top-pack tarps. Our accident is an honest mistake. And then, of course, Mark's horse went off into the timber on the way back about 13 times, and that velvet moose rack got dragged through all these tight, thick, frickin' spruce saplings, and there was velvet shredded and hanging all over the brush all the way back to camp. It's a complete accident. Oops. Whatever. It's not about velvet, it's about the memory anyway. So anyways, there you go. There's a hunt story for you. Full insanity, full craziness. It's never the same. You never can predict what's going to happen. You never know what's coming. And believe me, nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing. You can't surprise me. You can't shock me. You just can't. There you go. How's that for a hunt story?